Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to present, of course, the situation of our federation during this pandemic time and lockdown. FISU is the governing body of the university sports in the world, and we were founded in 1949, and I must say that since 1949, we celebrate last year our 70th anniversary. We did not have to face such a dramatic situation for the university sports movement. And well, in '61, we have been recognized by the IOC, and we work very close with the IOC, and they help us as well during this pandemic time, mainly for the postponement of the Olympic Games, because they managed that the Olympic Games in Tokyo were not put in the same time with the University Games in Chengdu, China in 2021. Then, of course, what has saved FISU during this pandemic time is that we do not have only sports activities. We have as well a large educational program, and that's helped us to keep the relationship with our national federation and with our students. Of course, the pandemic has affected dramatically the administration of FISU, like all international federation. And all my colleagues from the international federation had to put their staff in home working, or they had to put them in part-time. And it was the case for FISU, of course. And we had to manage this very quickly, because when it happened in March, we had a couple of days only to put our staff at home and to find solutions to make them able to work from home as well, which is not so easy, because we are not used to do it. We are used, of course, to work from different countries, because we have some events abroad, of course, but to work permanently for months from home, we have to be equipped. And sometimes it's something that we forgot. Not only internet connection, but the furniture, everything that make you able to work. But we tried to do it, and we did it. And together with the Unisanté, which is an organization based in Lausanne, specialized in public health, we have also put in place a new regulation for headquarters in Lausanne to allow them to come back after that, after 4 months, to come back to the office in good conditions and safe. Of course, it has been a very serious impact on our activities. When I talk about activities, I'm talking about mainly our sports events. We had to cancel this year 29 World University Championships. I don't know if you realize what is 29, meaning that we have put 29 organizing committee in a very big trouble, because those people have, of course, invest a lot of money to prepare the championships. And unfortunately, we had to cancel this only a few months before the event, which are affecting, of course, the participation of the countries that were already registered to go to this event. We tried to postpone, but as you can imagine, now with the so big sports program we have all around the world, all international federations had to cancel and postpone. Then we could not find in the year 2020 any possibilities to move some events to 21. Because of course we have the Olympic Games that moved to 21, the Euro 2020 was moved to 21, and many World Cup and championships. That's why, unfortunately, we at the end decided not to postpone those events, but to cancel definitely. For some of them, we have also changed the format. For example, we had some mind sports, and we made the mind sports competitions online, which is possible, of course, for mind sports. It's more complicated for handball or any other sport. And we had to find also some other solution to make sure that all our countries will not lose too much money. And that's why we have attributed to each and every organizing committees and national federation some amount of money to help them to cover the expenses, which was not, of course, foreseen in the FISU activities and budget. Of course, we have also to adapt ourselves. And fortunately, as I just mentioned before, FISU is not only a sports event organizer. We have plenty of seminars, conference, congress, and one new and very important program, which is the Healthy Campus. The Healthy Campus is a program that will promote physical activity on the campuses, of course, but as well healthy lifestyle. Then we are not talking about to practice physical activity for health. We are talking about also to control the healthy lifestyle of the students on the campus and to try to promote this amongst the rectors and the president of universities. And we fortunately launched this in May this year, and we had already more than 40 universities that have signed up for this program. It's a good fantastic platform to exchange information, to share best practice and so on, how to give a better campus for the students and to promote the healthy lifestyle of the students. As you know, we are also based on the campus of the University of Lausanne. Then for us, we were in direct contact with the students and we could see how much the students community has been affected. Because we are, of course, a sports federation, but we are dealing with students. And I can tell you that for the students, to work from home, to have the courses online, to have the exam online, it was quite difficult. It can be done for 1 or 2 courses, but when you have all the courses online and exam online, it's quite complicated for some students. You have to have in mind that some students do not have internet. Some students do not have computer because they are using the computer or the internet connection in the university campus. That's why we have to be careful when we talk about how to manage this in the future. Of course, home working and online courses and so on could be a solution, but we have to have in mind that not everyone is equipped for that. Of course, we have to create also new events. We have just talked about esports. I'm not a big fan of esports because the purpose of FISU is to bring the people on the sports field and to let them move. And that's why we have created Healthy Campus. It's not to create an additional activity that will put the students in front of a screen. I believe they are already much more than enough in front of a screen. And but we try to create some activities that were linked to physical activities and esports. Means that they have to do something. And I think it's a good future for those kind of activities. Not only to have those digital games, but to have really activities that you can put together to students to compete in, for example, dancing or some exercises and so on. And that's what we did, and it was very, very successful. But we did also some FIFA challenge and so on, and it was, of course, a different kind of activity, but we have to do it to make sure that the people will be at least active during this lockdown. And of course, we create this Fit at Home program that was just organized by the FISU staff, that were making some coaching exercises online. And it was also a very interesting program that we did. Well, just to be short, for the first time, the international sports community has faced a very serious problem. This time it didn't affect only, like it was, I remember in Korea, only Asia that was affected. It was the whole world that was affected. And that's probably the reason why now many people now realize that we have to do something. And not only to adapt ourselves to the situation that is coming now, but to think about the future. What do we have to do to avoid that kind of lockdown in the future? One question that I have in mind is, do we need to have so many international events and putting young kids or students or athletes in planes to travel all around the world to go to competitions? Can we not be a bit more reasonable and limit the travel of our young people and young generation and just try to compete in a region or between cities or between very regional area? Because now, when I'm traveling now, I can see young teams, 14, 15 years old, players traveling all around the world to practice. I believe it's maybe not necessary. And we have to be more reasonable. Because then once upon a catastrophe like today, of course, all the program of those international federations is facing huge difficulties. And of course, we have to be careful with the way the international federation are financed. I'm really scared about some colleagues from international federation that will not get the money from the IOC. I'm really scared about international federation that have no reserve. I personally have always tried to have minimum 2-3 years reserve to make sure that even with no income, FISU will be able to keep the staff and continue to work. But it's not the case for many, many federations. And I sincerely hope that they will be able to survive. But even the big one will have very big difficulties. And now we will, of course, focus on national federation because, you know, they are not sports federation. They are dealing with activities on the campuses all around the country. And of course, as the campuses were closed, the university were closed, they could not have any sports activities on the campus. Then they didn't receive any revenue, any funding from the government. And that's why we will...
2 more minutes, please.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Saintrond, I didn't mean to interrupt you that drastically.
No, it's fine. It was the end.
But I think that those participants who have not yet heard about the Healthy Campus, they will be interested in learning more about this, and I can only recommend to go to the FISU website and learn about this initiative, which provides answers not only or ways forward, not only during the pandemic, but also beyond. And I'm sure that many organizations would welcome the idea of discussing with you the reduction of events on a global level. But let's keep that for the discussion